We need a real agenda. We're not going to be able to have an agenda for 2020, for the 2020 presidential election. It's less than 2 months away. So that's gone. But you damn bet you we can have one for the mayoral race in Cleveland in 2021. We can have one for the upcoming city council elections. We can have one for the county council elections. We can have one for the 2022 gubernatorial election in the state of Ohio. And so that's what we need to be working on. Because if we start to show concrete results for protests and activism, then we'll get more people to come out. One of the reasons why people are so apathetic sometimes is because they don't believe that anything is going to change. And so if we do not start to show that, yes, things can change, we can do something different. We can come up with workable solutions to improve the life of black folk. That's what we need to be working on. Now, I came up with a few agenda points, and I don't know that any of them are going to necessarily be workable, but it's a start.
Can you read them? I want you to read them.
Now remember, this is a work in progress, so to speak. This is a draft.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Demand local municipalities take a harder line in negotiations with police unions for more accountability and oversight. One of the things that happens when you deal with punishing police officers is that even when the city of Cleveland decides to fire them, arbitrators quite often give them their jobs back. And one of the reasons they're able to do that is because it's in their contract language. And we need to do something about that. We need to demand that the city of Cleveland form a new unit within the police department to handle non-criminal situations. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if this is necessarily workable. I do know this is something that they're doing in St. Petersburg, Florida. I do know that other cities are looking at proposals to try to take away, if you remember Tanisha Anderson, the young woman who was killed because she was going through a mental health crisis. The last thing we need when there's a mental health crisis is armed police officers showing up at the door. We need to be looking at different alternatives, different proposals, and one proposal that I am making is that we demand that at least it be explored, the idea of forming a new unit within the Cleveland Police Department that's going to have social workers or other mental health professionals, someone in the social work field, but not law enforcement officers carrying guns, showing up, and in many cases making the situation worse. So it's an idea, and it's something to be explored, and it's being done in other cities. So let's take a look at it. Now, one of the things that it would do is, it's not just about mental health issues, it's about disorderly intoxication. And that reminds me of the brother in Atlanta, Rayshard Brooks. Drug overdose, mental health crisis, mental health transport, and panhandling. All are low-level crimes at best. In many cases, this is a personal crisis for the person that is the cause of the incident. And so we would like to explore, or at least have the city of Cleveland explore alternatives to law enforcement showing up with guns on their hip. Because in many cases, they make the situation much worse. I also have here, we should explore, now this is probably my most controversial point. We should explore creating weekly citizen patrols in designated high crime neighborhoods to set an example and act as a deterrent. Now, here's what I mean by that. The situation that she was talking about earlier on St. Clair, I would love to have 25, 30, 40, 50 brothers and sisters show up walk through the neighborhood, walk down the street, and make a stand and say, hey, this is wrong. We need to do something else. We need to go into neighborhoods and talk to people, deal with those store owners, talk to them as well, but do it as a force, as a group of people, a group of people with the same philosophy, a group of people that want to do things that are going to bring about change. Walk in there as a group, black on black, Black Life Matters, whatever. Just get people involved and get people in the community and to show up after an incident like this and say, you know what, this is wrong. And we're here to talk about it. I don't know if that's workable either, but I know the idea of black people unified for one mission, going in the neighborhood and saying enough is enough might make a difference. It is a travesty that those men, or the man who was filming that young lady, did nothing but act as a narrator for the worst moment of her life, by the way. Another proposal is, if and when a new mayor takes office in 2022, the immediate resignation of Calvin Williams as the police chief. Enough is enough. We need culture changers, not maintainers in public office right now. Frank Jackson is a maintainer. Calvin Williams has proved to be a maintainer. They've changed nothing. We need culture changers right now. But it's plainly clear that Frank Jackson's never going to get rid of them. But if you get another mayor in there in 2022, I propose that we put together an agenda, we propose it to the new mayor, and one of the items on that agenda should be a new police chief who's motivated to change things, who's motivated for police reform, who's not happy with the way things are right now.
First thing that comes to my mind is, where does the police chief, how do they select one? Do they
The
select
mayor
from
does
other
it.
departments? Okay. Right, I don't know why I didn't know that.
The mayor appoints the police chief. And Frank Jackson, with all that's happened with the Cleveland Police Department, Calvin Williams is still there. So I've come to the conclusion that he's not going to do nothing about a new police chief. He likes what the police chief that's currently there is doing. So it's going to take a new mayor. It's still to be determined if Frank Jackson is going to run again. He's been in office 4 terms. Enough is enough. But he may run again. But if he doesn't, and there's a new mayor, there's an opportunity now. And if we put forth an agenda for change, and we can get the new mayor to support that, one of the tenets of our agenda will be, we need a police chief committed to reform. So, getting back to the elections coming up, 2020, 2021, and 2022, we could actually bring about some real change. We could actually get people in office who are committed to change. But we have to work for it. We have to start to marry this protesting with actual results. These are 4 proposals that, frankly, I don't know if they're all workable or not. It's just a starting point. They're written in pencil. They can be changed, they can be added to, they can be reduced, it doesn't matter. But we need agenda points like this to be able to present to the powers that be. Thank you.
Well, wait a minute, James. Wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
You got the idea, so yeah.
You know, I don't know if I need to spearhead it. I don't care who does it, but I just think it's something that needs to be done.
Yeah, I believe that too. We done things like that, but we ran out of gas, man.
Okay.
We ran out of gas.
Do you know what is the rate of the census right now? Because today is the last day. Do you know the